Good morning. Good Saturday morning. Glad to have you with us. Clear skies outside. A beautiful Saturday morning, if you like. Allergies and pollen and dry air. Hopefully all that's going to change a little bit in the next few days. Get some of the pollen washed out of here.
A little rain.
And, you know, we went from cool to hot.
Yeah.
In the blink of an eye there, too. What was 88 yesterday?
It was in the high 80s.
Yeah. And humid. Like a, June day or something like that. But, hey, if you don't like the weather, hang around a little bit, right? It'll change. It's supposed to cool back down, I think.
And get as low as the 30s at night.
Yeah, well, I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Let's have that. Oh man, I was joking. First of all, let me make sure we are on Sports Talk this morning, right? Because all the conversation's been crime this morning. We haven't talked anything but crime. Maybe
we had a police officer stop by.
Yep, looking into arresting Mike. Mike is way too slow to commit a crime, right? Couldn't happen. But, the Asia degree thing is popped up again. So the talk of the town, the talk of the region, I guess, the talk of Western North Carolina. Anyway, so we'll leave that to those guys, and we'll do the best we can with some sports this morning. The first thing I said this morning, how about last night's semifinals in women's college basketball? I said, woo, 2 big upsets last night. And you guys just looked at me and nodded jokingly and said, yeah. I did not realize when I said that the margin of victory in the second game.
30.
Till just now.
4 points.
Yeah.
A rout.
Gino humbled by UConn's record 34-point rout.
Yeah, they played great. You could tell it from the opening tap almost. They came down and they got a steal, first 2 points of the game, then a 3, and it was on.
Good morning, Moss Teller family. Monty Moss Teller says, good morning, STG. Got the whole family listening this morning. I hope they've already had breakfast. They won't be able to eat listening to this. But glad to have you with us this morning as we talk. So right off the top of the bat, does South Carolina have any chance at all?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I can't believe because UCLA was a 1 seed and UConn was a 2.
How did that
happen?
I mean,
and going into the game, UConn was favored by 7.5, I think.
When's the last time you saw it was an upset on paper, right? But that's all, really, right? I mean, you guys tell me. I'm asking.
Based on seeding, it was an upset,
right?
But it wasn't an upset based on the Vegas odds.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did that happen? How many losses did UConn have during these?
I think they both had 3.
Did they?
I believe.
No, UCLA only had 2. They were 34-2.
34.
Oh, okay, that was their third last night.
Well, they were used to that number 34 then.
Yeah, exactly.
34-2, and they lose by 34.
I mean, I kept waiting. I've heard so much about this UCLA center, Lauren Betts, 6'7". But I mean, she scored a few points inside, but nobody else could do a thing. I mean, it was just a superb all around performance by UConn in every phase of the game. Defense, hitting shots. Paige Beckers is,
that should not surprise us at all.
No, it shouldn't.
Right?
Not at all.
Stellar performance by UConn. How many times can you?
Well, they haven't won it since 2016.
And it's about their time.
It's about their time.
I did not realize that.
Well, they've gone 9 years without winning.
A couple days ago, I'd heard that.
Wow.
And and Beckers has been through so much.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's her time.
Yeah.
Feels like it's her time.
How many teams have won it in that period since? And how many teams? So that's 8 championships in there to fill.
Well, South Carolina's won what? 2 or 3?
That's what I'm wondering. How many?
They won a
LSU
couple.
Won one. At least
LSU won one with Kim
Mulkey.
Iowa
with Kim Mulkey. How many did she score?
Well, as the flamboyant sideline presence. Who else has won it?
Yeah, I mean,
Did Stanford win any during that 8-year drought for
I'm not going to say.
UConn?
Notre Dame might have won. Notre
Dame won one with Muffy.
Look at me chiming in there on
McGraw
women's college
right
basketball.
after that, didn't she?
Yep. Yeah, Notre Dame won one of those. So I guess.
Yeah, Stanford did win one. Baylor won one.
Yeah.
Baylor's won a men's title and a women's
Mulkey
title.
won the one at Baylor
in the last whatever years.
Yeah.
She also won at UCLA. Yeah.
What year did Baylor? Just don't look it up. But what year did Baylor win the men's? Was that about
2020?
2020.
Oh no, 20. Which
5
the year
years
after
ago
COVID? You know,
Okay.
after the whatever that might have been 21.
21.
Because
Yeah.
they beat Gonzaga.
2020 they didn't play, did they?
Yep. Nope.
Is that who they beat in the finals? Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Is that
They blew
Gonzaga's
them out.
only trip to the?
Now Carolina beat them in the
Carolina
championship.
beat them.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
2 trips. For
Yeah, Kim
Gonzaga.
Mulkey won with Baylor in 2019 and then with LSU in 23.
Yeah. And Sweet Elite Eight this year. UCLA beat them to get to the final.
And then South Carolina's won 3 in that 8-year span.
3.
Yeah.
2017, 22, and then last year.
Mm-hmm.
38-0 last year.
Are they the closest thing to UConn?
Yes.
Right now,
They have
yeah.
been in the last 10 years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Who was
kind of become the Yukon, even though
Who was previous then? Who was the other one that could win?
Well, Tennessee was
Yeah, Tennessee.
The
way
most
back,
recent.
especially.
Way back. Yeah.
Well,
dynasty.
They seem to got it back together though, right? I mean,
They were good
Tennessee
this year.
women's Program had
Yeah,
a good
they
season.
they got to the Sweet 16 or so. Yeah, they were pretty good.
Mm.
Yeah, their last one came in 08. They won back-to-back in 07 and 08. And then after that, UConn won 6 out of the next 8.
Mm-hmm. Which is the closest
I'm like
we've
you,
had. That's the closest we've had since.
don't seem like it's been 2016 because they dominated so much. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
thought there was 8 years in there between them not winning one.
Yeah, that's 6 out of 8 for UConn's closest we've come to Wooden and UCLA's.
And it looks like
men,
Gino's won
60s and 70s.
11 total.
11 total. Yeah, he has.
Wow, he's up there with Wooden.
Getting ready
How
to
many
be-
has Wooden won?
Getting ready to be 12.
10, didn't he?
Yep, 10.
I believe.
If I had to bet, it's getting ready to be 12, an even dozen.
Yeah, this is not. I don't think this is the dominant South Carolina team. They were lucky to get by Duke.
Yeah, they were
actually,
squeaked
in the
by.
elite,
Yes.
elite 8. They've had
Yeah, they're
a close
definitely not as
game.
good as they were last year.
Yeah.
Last year, they were clearly the best
Yes.
team.
Oh yeah.
But UConn, yeah, all right. Gino's won 11, and I was trying to see how many Pat Summitt won. I know it wasn't 11,
No.
but it
No.
was probably looks like maybe
Something like 8.
7 or 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were Tennessee was the first dominant program,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they were the first
Mhm.
ones that really
Looks like she won 8.
built a dynasty, and then UConn came along a little later. What year was Gino's first? I was just trying to think how far back
95.
was it?
All the way to the 90s.
95. Obviously a good coach and a good recruiter.
Yeah.
How many? First thing came to my mind is UConn on the doorsteps here of another one. How many seniors start?
Well, Becker's got another year, but she's already announced she's going to
Well,
WNBA. But
is
I
she?
think she for them and now her and that I think must have meant she had another. Could have come back.
Yeah,
Well, one of their best players is a freshman.
is that right?
I can't think of her name, but yeah.
Don Revel says South Carolina's last loss was an 87-58 loss to UConn in
Yeah.
February.
Yeah.
And it
I remember
ended
that.
it ended South Carolina's 71-game home winning streak.
Yeah, they went down there and just mopped them up at South Carolina and Columbia.
I bet it won't be that bad tomorrow.
Well, I hope not. I hope not for the TV ratings.
What do you think speaking of that, how do you think they'll compare to the last 2 years when Caitlin Clark's been in it? I'm be curious to see.
Oh, it won't be near.
TV.
No.
I don't think
Not
it'll
as
be anywhere
much.
near what it was last year.
All right.
Rodney says the guard named Strong on UConn, freshman
Yeah.
of the year.
That's her.
Hey, I'll give you the trivia then. Where did she go to high school? You know them very well for Legion baseball.
Ooh.
How about that?
Wow.
Where did she go to
North
high
Carolina.
Troy.
Is it North
Alabama.
Carolina?
school? It is North Carolina, yes.
Carnegie.
It is North Carolina?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I didn't know this. Obviously, you guys didn't know this.
No, somewhere in Wilmington.
Nope. Try again.
Kernersville.
Nope.
Okay. If you heard me earlier.
Fuquay Varina.
Bingo.
Hey.
Fuquay Varina High School,
Wow.
according to Rodney.
Yeah, I do. I remember her, but did she go to Fuquay and finish at a private school maybe?
No, I can't
Seemed like
answer
I
that.
remember her, 'cause I believe it was Carolina, Connecticut, and Duke were her
Mm-hmm.
final three, but didn't remember her name.
I think she picked the
When
right
she said,
one.
When she
We
said
should've
strong, I still didn't
Mm.
register with me.
She is really good.
Do we know of any other North Carolina athletes that's gone through the Yukon?
Shay Ralph.
Yeah, that's
Fetful.
right. Yeah. That's the NC State name, isn't it? Ralph, the family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
she
then,
she
and
went
then
to
I
Yukon.
think she was an assistant with Gino for many years, but I think she's a head coach somewhere now.
Mm.
Yeah, she played Sarah Strong played her freshman year at Fuquay Varina.
Oh, just
After
one
that
year.
season, she moved to Grace Christian School in Sanford.
And Brett,
But still went to high school in North Carolina.
you and I
Yeah.
were talking. Who was looking? That name came across us earlier for a boys player at Grace, but I can't remember who it is. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about it, and I cannot remember.
Well, I think that's where the girl from North Pitt went.
That's it.
Um,
That's it. That's what you and I were talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, the real good freshman
Yeah.
last year for North Pitt. I think she's at Grace Christian
That's it.
now.
That was it. That's what we were talking about.
And she's a Yukon type player.
Yeah,
Brett and I saw
Jordan
her play
Speller.
last year, and we thought right then that this girl's a Yukon type player the way she plays, and she was in the 9th grade. She was tremendous. Makes me talking about this gives me a really good idea for you guys to think about. Who is the best men's player to ever get away from the Carolinas? Whether it be Carolina, NC State, Duke, Wake Forest, who's the best one that just
Dominique Wilkins.
that didn't play? That's a good one. That's a good.
one.
That's a
Went to
good first
Georgia.
answer.
Yeah,
Um,
that was a good
yeah.
one.
And there's. Well, the
Yeah.
first one came to my mind was James on Curry,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
James
You know,
Curry.
one of the Alamance schools, and went to
But he kinda-
Oklahoma State.
He kind of got away because of issues, though, with
Yeah, there was
being
something
charged with
going on.
marijuana
Mm.
possession. That was
Yeah.
because he'd committed.
Well, we know they don't smoke marijuana
And no Muskogee,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's right.
in Oklahoma.
Because he had committed to North Carolina like when he was a sophomore to Matt Doherty.
Yeah.
But by the
Problem
time he was a senior, Roy was there, and I think they.
But I guess they do.
So he
in
got away by
Stillwater.
default. I mean, he.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
'Cause-
who are others? I mean, we've had to have.
Oh, I know.
You know, I mean, there's NBA players you hear that are from the state of North Carolina, but they played their college ball
Yeah.
somewhere else. I just can't think of them right off the top of my head. But yeah, Rodney goes right along with you. Which one of you guys said Dominique Wilkins?
Dominique Wilkins.
Mike, yeah.
Georgia.
Dominique was a human highlight reel.
Charles,
That's for sure.
Buck Williams
Um,
from Rocky Mount
Yeah,
went
Buck
to Maryland.
Williams, Rocky, man, that's a great one.
it is, yeah.
Mhm.
I would have
What
never
about
come
Sleepy
up with
Floyd?
Sleepy Floyd.
Oh,
Yep,
Georgetown.
Sleepy Floyd, Georgetown.
that. Hey, I like it.
There's got to be a
Uh,
lot of more recent ones, though.
John Lucas.
John Lucas, Durham.
Out of Durham.
Out of Durham, went to
Durham
Maryland.
side.
Yep. As far as a college player, he was about as good as they get.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
think about it, back in the day. But that's a good topic to think of because North Carolina's so
Yep.
strong
And,
in college basketball and high school
Mhm.
basketball.
Well, this Sarah Strong at UConn, her mom, Allison Feaster, played college basketball at Harvard.
that's
Late-
her mother.
Later in the WNBA, and then joined the Celtics front office. And her dad, Danny Strong, played at NC State.
She stayed.
Oh, yeah, Danny Strong.
I'm glad you said that, Mike. Oh yeah, Danny Strong.
I remember. I don't remember
I'm
Strong,
blank.
but I remember the Feaster.
Yeah.
I remember her.
Yeah,
And
Feaster's
that's her
a
mother.
familiar
Yeah.
name. Let's see. Jason says a more recent one to get away is Bam Adebayo.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, John Wall.
John
too.
Wall.
John Wall.
John Wall's a good
John
one
Wall's.
too. Yeah. Was John Wall originally from North Carolina, or did he just go to? I mean, I don't know. I'm asking. Did he?
I don't know.
I
I
think
know he went to Word
I
of
think
God.
he was at one of the Raleigh before he went to Word of God, but I may be
Okay.
wrong.
where did Bam Adebayo go to high school? Maybe
It was
Somewhere in that area.
He was the one
What,
I
the
thought
North
may not
Carolina
be
area?
an original.
The Raleigh area.
He was one I
Right,
thought
yeah.
might not be an original North Carolinian, but
seemed like there's a few
Adebayo.
more in
He's,
that area than the east. than the western
Adebayo
Wasn't it like
started at
Fayetteville?
North Side,
North Side.
in Charlotte.
Pine
Side.
Town,
Oh, okay,
and then went to High Point Christian.
Okay.
okay.
Same
Says he
thing.
was born in Newark, New Jersey,
That's
but
what
he
I was
did
thinking.
play all of his high school career in North Carolina,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then went to Kentucky.
And then even more recently, maybe Dillingham.
Yeah.
Hickory.
Yeah, went
Yeah.
to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very local there.
Well, there's also Hassan Whiteside out of Gastonia.
That's
Mhm.
correct.
Yeah.
Played it.
Is he
was it
still
Marshall?
playing with the Heat? Is he still in the NBA, or no?
No, it looks like his last year in the NBA was 22.
Okay, wasn't sure
Um,
about that one.
but he played at
Wasn't it?
he played at 3 different schools.
Yeah,
He played at
Gaston
a New
Christian for a
Jersey
little while.
school.
Was it Gaston
He
Christian?
played at, it says Hope Christian in Kings Mountain.
Okay.
I've never heard of it.
Mm.
And then the
Yeah.
Patterson School in Lenore.
Illinois.
Yeah, heard
Mm.
of that one.
Yeah, and then went to Marshall. And he played with several NBA teams.
You guys know Cooper Flagg won the AP
Did hear that.
Men's Player of the
Player
Year
of the Year.
award. Only the 4th freshman to win that award. Who was first? You guys know without looking it up? Who was the first freshman to win the AP?
Was it Durant?
Yep.
Kevin
Yep.
Durant.
Kevin Durant, and that was, which is real recent.
Mhm.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
like you would think that. I know at one point freshmen couldn't play,
Yeah, he had a drink of water at Texas, right?
pretty much.
Yeah, he
He's
was
going to drink
around,
that he's player of the year, though, I
what,
guess.
06,
I think it was 7.
07?
Yeah, I think it was
I
7.
know Zion
saw
won it.
Zion was another. He was the most recent until Flagg, so that leaves you one more. Can you get the other one?
Oh, I know. Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
In 2012.
Oh yeah.
Anthony Davis. Now, all those guys, right? Stellar NBA careers. So,
Yeah. Well, Zion, not
can't-
yet.
Yeah, off and on. Off and on.
I mean,
Uh,
Davis and Durant are Hall of Famers.
I would say all 4 of them do. That's just my gut. That's just my gut
but
feeling.
they'll all 4 wind up being Hall of Famers.
Well, Zion's just got to stay on the
He just
court.
can't
If
stay
he-
healthy,
when he
can
when he plays, he's really good.
Did I not see he lost
just
a
doesn't
lot of
play
weight
much.
recently?
I don't know. He's,
I mean, that's the only thing I've
well,
seen
there's a
in
lot
the
of talk.
news
There's
for
always a lot of talk about his weight
Mhm.
and that being
Yeah, I think
the cause of
here's what
so
I
many
heard.
injuries.
he actually hired a chef,
Yeah.
maybe to live in his house and do the, so he eats
Well,
more.
he needs to get out of New Orleans.
Well, that's tough. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I need to get in there.
I hope it wasn't a Cajun chef.
It might be. It might. Yeah. It didn't say it was for nutrition. It said to eat. Oh man. Yeah. What do you wait so long for? Right. Yeah, it's not like he can't afford anybody in the NBA. I don't have a problem affording a chef. You know what do you guys think? Different things are just popping in my mind, and it just jumped to baseball. I sent Brett a message last night. That
Braves win. Braves
Is that the
win.
one you sent me?
yes,
The Reds.
yeah, the Reds had lost 3 games in a row. Mike,
Mhm.
you know what the score was?
No.
1-0, 1-0, and 1-0. I never heard of that.
What
That's
did it
I've
last
never heard of
night
that.
end up? You
Well,
said it was
last
one-
night,
You said it was
I
1-0.
flipped it on to see what was going on there, and it was 1-0
That's what.
Oh.
in the 5th inning. Now, I think the Reds lost.
3-2.
Yeah, 3-2, but they scored.
So they
Yep.
They scored. Steve K, you will be happy.
So
they
they-
have jumped
so they-
over one hurdle.
they
So
doubled
there's
their production.
4 straight 1-run losses.
Yeah, it is 4 straight 1-run loss. I don't ever remember seeing. I'm sure it's happened in Major League Baseball history, but teams losing back-to-back 1-0 games, much less 3.
You know what they did the day before they started that streak?
Probably won a game 1-0.
They scored 14,
Ooh, used them all up.
14-3.
Yeah. That's what happens sometimes. You hear people say, save some of them for tomorrow. Well, they should have. If they would have just saved 6 of those runs,
Yeah.
2 a day, they could have won.
Well, hey, their pitching's good.
The pitching is good. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, how would you like to have that kind of pitching, though, and how discouraging for the guys on the hill. 3 straight games. You know, you hold the team to 1 run and, you know, can't score. Can't score. Who's been the biggest surprise? You know, what we had now, about 10 games. Are we 10 games in yet?
No.
Close to it?
8. About 8 for most teams.
Braves winless until last night. Or
I
yesterday.
told Brett the
That's
other
a good
day,
surprise from
the
that point of view, isn't it?
the funniest odds that I heard this week were the San Diego Padres were 7-0.
Yep.
The Atlanta Braves were 0-7,
Mm-hmm.
but the Braves still had better odds to win their division.
Yeah. Well, because
Because
San
of the-
Diego's in the same
because of the
division as
Dodgers.
L.A.
You guessed it.
Yeah.
You guessed it. I mean, I'm not saying they can't win it. They'll have a hard time winning it, but
Well, they both lost last night.
did they?
Both of them's first loss.
Okay. And with all this going on, what do you guys think about the torpedo bats? And, you know, the Yankees, Monty, had to reinvent the bat
I saw
to compete.
I
That's
saw
all I've
a
been
post
waiting to
this
say that
week
to Monty.
saying showing the Yankees new gloves that they're using, and they were like the
Got
size
holes
of the
in 'em.
infield.
I thought maybe they had holes in them. That's the ones they used last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You were
Rodney, as I said that, Rodney sends me a message. Any thoughts on the new bats? How about that? What timing? If they're legal, I got no problem with it. Here's the whole deal. Everybody can use them.
Yep.
If you want them,
yeah.
go get them. And there are some players on other teams that are using them now. But what a genius this guy is, though, that invented the thing, that structured it, you know, the physicist or whatever he was, to just, you know, look how many years it took to realize you could move the barrel down a little bit and everybody would be hitting the ball better. I'm not saying they're all going to hit for more power or anything, but obviously it looks like everybody that's using it is hitting the ball better, you know.
some guy made. I don't remember who it was. Yesterday said that.
Thank you, Monty. You just admitted to me that 24 of the Yankees players use that bat.
24.
You know why he said that? He said Judge doesn't use one.
Yeah. Did I ask Mark? Did I hear you use one day? And he said, "Nah, he's just going to use the old." He went back.
Yeah, why would you change if you
I
were
mean,
Judge? I wouldn't
That's right.
change. Don't change anything because he's definitely should lead the league in home runs. Let's see. They are legal for everyone. It's just, I honestly, this time I give the Yankees a little credit. They were the first ones to jump on it. You know what I mean?
I thought for a minute they were using the Wonder Bat from the Natural.
But like Brett said, I want to see the gloves they're going to use that's going to help that defense. Because last year,
Roy Hobbs.
that's what cost them, wasn't it? But I know at least in one game,
in one game.
it was the defense.
Well, that stood out because that was the game that decided the
I bet the cartoon people did have fun
World
with
Series.
that because
I don't think when they got down 3-0. I don't think it was their defense that
Right,
let them down.
right.
That
Well, that one game stood out.
Yeah.
That
Brett,
one game
talking
stood
about
out.
your Dodgers, I heard him. Of course, you said the Dodgers lost last night, but some announcer they said they were on a pace to win 173 games this year before last night.
No, they were on pace
Because
to
he
win
said- I guess he said
182
they-
before
Because he
last
said they
night.
were going. Well, he said they was going to run they wasn't going to lose in the because they hadn't lost that
Yeah.
one time. He
Lose in
said
the
they were going to run
playoffs
all the way
either.
through the playoffs and not lose a game. Is
Yeah.
what
Oh,
That's
okay.
what he was
Counting
saying.
everything.
yeah,
Mm.
162
But they
plus
wouldn't-
the
Yeah.
Plus
11
11.
playoff games.
Mm. Yeah. Well, everybody goes.
As long as
through
they
a
win those
slump.
11 at
Yeah,
the end, I
it
don't care
doesn't
how many
matter,
they
yeah.
lose along the way.
Yeah, got to get there, right? Brett, I know
They've been lucky to win a few of these.
this question. I'm not even going to ask to you, but I'll ask the older guys over here with me. Do you like baseball the way it is today? I mean, if I'm a fan of how many teams are in there? 30?
Yeah.
30.
Yeah.
If I'm a fan of about 24 of those teams, why are you even going to the ballpark? You got no chance. You absolutely got no chance to win a title. I would say 20.
You go
20
out-
teams have no chance to win a title.
You go out for the fellowship and the social interaction.
And that ends pretty quick, you know. I mean, with the hot dogs, you know,
Yeah,
you
the
might
hot
go
dogs.
the first month. I can see some ballparks being
Yeah.
full, but it's going to fade. And I've
Yeah.
already seen ballparks this year.
I'm sure.
What is going on?
I know it.
I mean, they're empty.
Yep.
They're empty. Now it is day games
True.
that I've seen. Most of them are day games.
Well, who's the best team that's not a big spender? And I don't mean just based off their record this year, but
Yeah.
just over the last 5 years
Historically.
or so.
The best, Tampa.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, but
Just
they're not
go-
good right now.
No, they're
They
not.
weren't good last year.
If you
No, but for that
like
span,
Cleveland, seems like Cleveland, they trade away their good players, but
Yeah.
they still are always at the top of their division.
You think Cleveland trades them away because they know they won't be able to
I don't know.
afford them when the time is to, re-up? I mean, that's the only thing I can think
you know,
of.
one time they were, I seemed like a spender, but in the last 15 years they hadn't been.
Yeah, they don't.
You
They
know,
don't
when-
now.
Well, back in
When
the day
Albert
when they
Bell
had,
and Ramirez,
Yeah.
and those guys were there.
Yeah,
you
they
know.
were loaded.
You
But
can't keep them all. But
Now I think Tampa
they didn't
does
keep those guys.
does
though.
well in the draft and their
Yeah.
farm system,
Yeah.
and they've always had good pitching.
Yeah.
Tampa has, but these last couple of years, I don't think they've been near as good.
It's just not good for the game, though, because, I mean, you got a lot of history in some of these ballparks in some of these cities. The one that always comes to my mind is Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
because Pittsburgh, when I was growing up, was winning championships, and now they have no chance,
True, correct. And I guess, too, when you say in Pittsburgh, same point of view, Oakland, when we were like that, too,
Mm-hmm.
which is now Las Vegas, Sacramento, whatever you want to call them. But
And here's something, too. Here's what Jason says. I doubt the Washington Nationals will be having large crowds. I saw a photo where parking at the Nationals games now is
$30.
$100.
Mm.
$100 per vehicle. Carpool. You better ride with somebody.
I don't see how the team can let them do that.
What do you mean by that? You mean ownership?
I mean, ownership wants fans
Yeah, I know.
in the stadium, and it's not the Nationals that are getting that money for parking. So how can they let whoever is the city or whoever it is?
Then you can't, if it belongs
They got
to
to
the
work.
city,
They
you
got to
can't
work
stop it.
something out
Yeah.
that they can't charge that. I mean,
What's the highest you guys have ever paid to park? Now, I know Mike's is going to be $3.
Oh, hey, I'm over in that 20 range.
Up there in that 20 range.
Yeah, baby.
Okay.
yeah, I
I
can't.
still
I have no
pay.
idea. I don't know.
I just try and think. Concerts in Charlotte, sometimes that's pretty high.
Yeah, you can get
yeah, usually
40.
20. I mean, I
Yeah.
paid 20 a
I
bunch,
think 20 is the highest I've paid.
and I
Yeah.
paid 10 a bunch, but
Yeah. It seems like I paid 30 for
I don't.
something.
I don't remember paying
going.
more just to have a better spot
Nah.
anywhere.
Right.
I mean,
It's $100 a car.
Mm.
Wow.
I remember that place we parked when we went to Virginia to watch Notre Dame and Virginia play. It was like, just some. We just happened to find it, and it was, in through some little alley behind some businesses, and then it was
I don't.
kind of sketchy getting in and out of there. But
I can't remember how much it was.
that was just out of necessity. It wasn't like
Mhm.
Yeah. Was
we
it
just
more?
we just needed
was it
somewhere
more
to
than
park.
20?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not. 20 seems to be the standard,
Yeah, the standard.
especially for
You can
things
go
like
to South Point High School for a football game and park in somebody's yard for $20. I think. I mean, it's
There's such a premium on parking
Yeah.
at South Point.
Mhm.
Just nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, those guys
how we
could
got to
probably charge
parking.
more.
How we got to parking is so odd. I'm just surprised.
Well, the Nationals. It sounds like the Nationals fans are getting screwed on that. If that's
Yeah.
the primary
Well-
mode of transportation, I don't know if most of them take
A subway.
subway.
That's what you should do. Even if you have to drive
'Cause
in,
I don't
park
know
somewhere
where that-
else.
Where that stadium is, I know it's close to downtown DC. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where it is. I
Well-
haven't seen it, but
the times I've been on the
I know it's
subway
not
in
like
Washington,
in Landover,
and
like
you've been on it
Washington.
too, it was immaculate. I mean, it's a great subway system. It's clean. It's safe.
Yeah.
It is.
And it's easy to get on, even from the airport. You can walk to the subway.
You're like me when we flew in and rode MARTA everywhere, I guess, or whatever it was, subway system.
MARTA's Atlanta.
MARTA's Atlanta, yeah. But it was.
I can't remember what it's
went
called.
everywhere we went was by subway.
Yeah.
Georgetown, Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
Ned says, okay with the pitch clock. I don't know how we got to the pitch clock. Okay with the pitch clock, not okay with wearing different TV costumes often instead of a team uniform.
Did you see the Phillies last night?
No, I didn't.
It was awful.
He says black numbers on a black shirt. Terrible.
Shitty, whatever.
Just blue and yellow. The Phillies were blue and yellow last night.
Like
Blue and
Boston
yellow.
And that yelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boston's got blue and yellow too.
I'm okay with the pitch clock too. I like the pitch clock.
Yeah, I do too.
It keeps things moving
Yeah,
along.
I do too. Pitch clock for me also.
I still am waiting on the day though.
I know you want
Electronic strike zone.
Electronic
Because
strike.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I watched several games this week, and there were pitches that weren't on the borderline. They were inside the square, and they weren't called strikes. Even against my own team. I mean, there should have been strikes.
Some that were out that
that
were definitely way out, and they were strikes too.
Yep. The human element, is it about the human element or is it about getting it right? Mm-hmm. Most of these sports have gone to as many things, electronically as they can to get more things right. So, one thing, did you see the yesterday in the game, Lenny? We saw the Red Sox where they had the interference call.
Yeah.
That was puzzling.
Yeah.
Whether it was interference or not.
Right.
And then it was puzzling on how the team kept their challenge.
I was going to
because
say,
they lost it.
I thought I heard that because I was kind of coming and going from the screen, but then they saved their challenge, didn't they? Even though they lost, I assume they lost it, but they kept their
didn't.
challenge.
They kept they lost the thing. It was fan interference in the outfield in the corner out there. You know how close Fenway's fans are.
Yeah.
And they did make contact, but they said he didn't lean over and do it purposely. And then the guy, he could have threw the ball home, but he didn't. And then when he didn't throw the ball home to try and get the guy tagging up, he wanted fan interference. Well, they reviewed it. They said no, and then they went and reviewed it again, and in New York or whatever, and they said no fan interference, but they kept their challenge. That was the only thing that puzzled me.
I still didn't know.
The Dodgers-Phillies game ended on a challenge last night, on a successful challenge.
Well, of course it did.
On a there was one out and a runner on first base, and the Dodgers down by one, and the batter struck out, and the guy on first was thrown out at second trying to steal. They called him safe initially, and then they reviewed it and overturned it. So, the game ended on the umpire saying the call was overturned and the runner was out. Which I thought they got it right.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the challenges.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with replay in any sport. I think it's working. For sure.
Where I hate it is these college basketball games.
Yeah,
where they review. They just review everything in the last few minutes.
We're going to take our first time out. I'm going to do I got mine up here. I'm going to go first because it'll take Mike 20 minutes to get his prepared. Go ahead and start, Mike, for the next segment. Get your lyrics ready. I told you once and I told you twice. We'll be back in a moment.
The Get Out and Ride sales event is underway at Full Throttle Power Sports in Lowell. Get up to $3,000 off select models of Yamaha side-by-sides. But that's not all. See the Suzuki King Quad with 0% financing for up to 36 months or $2,000 in customer cash back. And see the legendary Kawasaki Ninja bikes. And see the new Ninja Razor Pro lineup. All at Full Throttle Power Sports, 100 Indian Walk in Lowell. Online at ncfullthrottle.com.
Rhodes & Bill Oil Company in Lincoln has been serving the Piedmont of North and South Carolina since 1919. Sure, they deliver to your home with home heating oils. They'll help keep you warm, but they do a whole lot more. They feature bulk fuel delivery, on-site and commercial fueling, backup generator fueling, and farm and agricultural fueling. For home or business or farms, call on Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln, 704-735-2508. Online at rhodesandbill.com, located at 1404 East Main Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook, too.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vale. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vale. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
This is Creighton Kell with Kell Insurance. We have been helping people for over 25 years with all their Medicare needs. We represent the same national and local companies as the insurance agencies you see on TV. And you know what? We can sit down with you one-on-one and help you find the right plan just for you.
Kell Insurance is located beside the Cultural Center and behind Gillum Realty in downtown Lincoln. 107 North Cedar Street. Call 704-732-4646 and follow them on Facebook. Kell Insurance.
Look who just flew into town. Wild Birds Unlimited has expanded their nature shop, the latest in beautiful Denver, North Carolina. You'll want to take the short drive from Lincoln for all your seeds and feeders, hobby guides, gift cards, and more. Philip and Renee look forward to seeing you soon, and tell them that WLON sent you. Wild Birds Unlimited, now serving Lincoln and Catawba counties. Wild Birds Unlimited.
At Scooters Coffee, we like to think of ourselves as daymakers. A quick stop at Scooters can mean a fresh start to the morning, a midday break, or an afternoon reward to a long, busy day. Scooters Coffee has hot drinks, cold drinks, protein shakes, smoothies, and don't forget their great selection of food items. And Scooters reminds you to have an amazing day with a sticker on every item. Stop by 689 North Highway 16, Denver today. Scooters Coffee, serving smiles every day.
Welcome back, Sports Talk. David, Lenny, Mike, Brett, glad to have you with us this morning.
Couple
tuning in. What you got?
Listeners on Facebook, I'd like to welcome Brenda McCree-Custer and Mark Lackey.
Good morning.
Watching this morning. Good morning.
Absolutely. All right, I thought about my question here, our poll question today. World Champions, Major League Baseball, 2025. You get one choice, Mike. You can have either you can take both. This will be the matchup. You can take Dodgers, Yankees, or the field, and you're betting your house.
Ooh.
Which one you taking?
Field.
I'm not.
Yeah, it's high stakes. Your
I'm
house. I don't want to be homeless.
Well, it's imaginary if that helps you.
Yeah.
I'm
that
taking
does
the field
help.
too.
I'm going to go field.
Okay.
Although obviously those two teams.
Now tell me one of the teams that you could see inserted in that spot. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't some, because there are, especially in the American League.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, no, I think the National League's better.
Oh, without
got more good teams.
Do you know that? Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's what he means.
No, that's not what I mean. I think the American League is more open. I think it's going to be the Dodgers. That's what I think.
No, I'm the other way around.
Well, you're a Dodger fan, so
yeah.
you're
Well,
supposed to
who's
get.
the second best team in the American League?
That's just it. There's it. You know what? When Tim Kirchin, which I respect a lot in Major League Baseball, is either him or Buster Olney, one of them, when they gave their preseason rankings, it was number 7 when they got to an American League team.
Yeah.
It was number 7. It was the Yankees, was the number 7 team. And there were 6 National League teams already been mentioned in their rankings.
That's why it's tougher for the Dodgers to get there than the Yankees.
It is, but they're clearly
Right.
better. I just think they're clearly better. I can't wait to see the Padre-Dodgers games, though,
Yeah.
this year. I think they'll be.
Well, this Dodgers-Phillies series
they
this
really like
weekend
each other.
is a good one.
Phillies.
No, the
Yeah.
Phillies are 6-1,
What are the Mets off to?
4-3.
4-3.
Well, Juan Soto, although became one of my favorite players of all time recently.
Well,
Well, that was all about money, right? I mean, he certainly.
and I think the Braves are going.
I don't know if
Are
it's
gonna
all
be
about
there.
money. You
Well,
think?
I'm not
in
sold
the
on this day
playoffs.
and I'm a Red Sox fan, but Mark DeRosa and somebody else on MLC, they've got Boston getting to the finals
The finals of what?
of the World and the Dodgers. The Dodgers beat both of them because they went through the whole sides. And I thought I hadn't bought into that yet, but
Boston has a pretty good team if they get solid pitching, but I don't think they're as good as the Yankees. They can't score like the Yankees can. Cleveland's still, pretty good in the American League.
I think here's a team I think could be really good in the American League. Texas again.
Yeah.
A bounce back from 2 years ago. They didn't have a good year last year, and you got DeGrom back.
Yep.
If he's healthy.
Well, they sent Boston packing with their tail
Yeah.
between their legs after the first 4 games.
And when you get into playoffs, if you got a couple studs, you can.
Yeah.
Which the Dodgers have several. but like I say, Texas has got Evaldi, and if DeGrom is right, then they can make a deep push.
I just, I feel like, I don't know, the Yankees and the Dodgers. I'd be shocked if they're not in the playoffs, and then they play their best when they get to the playoffs. It seems like, I mean, at least hitting wise for the Yankees, they're going to score runs, and they'll be a team along the way. They'll pick up a pitcher or two if need be.
I feel like they're going to have because they're not going to see Cole all year. That's a major blow.
Oh, you just wait. There'll be a
them.
blockbuster trade before the deadline, most likely for a pitcher, an ace, somebody's ace that's contract's about to expire. I don't know who that might be. And, man, they'll probably wait as long as they can to see who's hot. I would, I'm not saying other teams won't try to do that too, but the Yankees can't afford it because there's no cap. No cap. That's the worst thing to me in baseball is it's not a level playing field because how many teams can win? How many teams really, in reality, out of the 30, have a chance to win it? In NFL, you could probably say
10.
In the NFL, way more than that.
Okay.
In Major League Baseball, less than that.
Yes.
I'm not saying basketball isn't kind of similar to that. I mean, NBA. One difference with football is you got to win one game, and that team's eliminated. Baseball and basketball, you got to win 4.
4.
Before you take them out, and it's hard to beat the good teams 4 times in those sports. Who's the favorites right now, Brett? NBA.
Oklahoma City and Boston.
Oklahoma City and Boston.
Yeah, based on what they've
And
done.
then Cleveland. Those are the 3 best teams. There's really 3 great teams this year.
If I asked you on those, would you take Oklahoma City versus Boston or the field?
I'd still take the field.
Yeah, because Cleveland has a better chance. Cleveland's got a good chance of knocking off.
They're going to have home
Boston,
court advantage.
maybe. Are they?
They got the best record. And Oklahoma City's just they've never done it with these players.
Yeah.
There's other teams that have way more experience than them, even though they're clearly the best team.
Do they have the MVP on their team?
Yeah,
You think
I think so.
Yeah.
I think SGA has
even though
earned the MVP.
Even though the
Even though
Joker
he has
is
the
like
longest-
Jordan, Joker could win it every year like LeBron. The
He
Joker,
could, yeah.
I mean, he has the numbers to win it every single season, right? But
But when you got, I mean, the best team by far, Oklahoma City's 64-13, and he's averaging 33 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds.
As long as he keeps away from singing.
Shooting. He's shooting 52% from the field.
That's pretty good.
As a guard.
Yeah.
And averaging 33. And, I mean, he's a really good defensive player, too. He would have my vote if I voted. I know the Joker's stats are crazy, but I think something has to be said for having the best record in the league and being the best player on that team.
Don't think about these baseball records and just
Denver's good. They're 47-31, but Oklahoma City's 18 games ahead of that.
I was wanting you guys just to listen to these and just tell Mike, your Giants are off to a 6-1 start.
I know.
What's their odds of winning the whole thing?
No, not good, but I'll take a 6-1
yeah, I would
start.
too. I think everybody would. Everybody'd take a 6-1 start.
We have made some off-season moves and changes, so hey, hope springs eternal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Arizona's a team that they compete every year, man. They're just right in there. Everybody forgets about them, writes them off, and here they are.
And they spend money. They sign free agents.
Really good pitching when Jordan Montgomery, although now he's out, but he wasn't even in the rotation.
I think they beat the Yankees 2 out of 3 this week, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah.
They went and got Corbin Burns, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball.
You got Corbin Burns. You got Zach
Gallen.
You got that Merrill Kelly's a good pitcher too. I mean, he got good stuff.
Yeah, they're a really good team.
So how would you like to be a Colorado fan?
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean,
they're 1-6.
Feels hopeless.
They're in that division behind the Dodgers, Padres, Giants, and Diamondbacks.
Yeah, to me, that's the best division in baseball.
Yes, it is.
They're by far the worst team in it. I mean,
they may be the worst team in the National League. I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
know.
they might be. I don't know either. I hadn't seen anything about them yet, but I can't name one player.
When you
for
say
Colorado
worst
right
team
now.
in baseball, it might be because of the division they play in, because of how they'll have to play them some more than.
Yeah, they're going to lose a ton of games.
Yeah,
they're going to lose over 100 probably.
Cubs, St. Louis, Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Cubs lead that division 6-4. Cardinals 4-3. And hats off to Alec Burleson yesterday. 3 hits in that game for Burleson.
And that division is
East Lincoln boy.
Mostly just decent. Yep. A bunch of average teams.
Ought to be very competitive.
That about anybody could win.
Yeah, I still think the Cardinals probably are the better. A little better than the Cubs, just from the eye test, but I don't know. Philadelphia, the Mets, Miami, Washington, Atlanta. Atlanta off to a 1-7 start, and number 1 came last night.
They'll turn that around.
Yeah, they'll be okay.
I think they'll be a playoff team.
Do you?
Yeah.
But that division's going to be tougher.
And I think maybe Philadelphia is the team in the majors that's got the most pressure on, because they've been so good the last 2 years. But what have they got to show for it?
Yeah.
And they got a lot of guys that are free agents, so I feel like there's a lot of pressure on them to have to produce.
How many home runs has Schwarber hit already? Leadoff spot.
I know he's had 4. And I don't know what he did last night.
How many teams have
He
had
got 4 home runs?
250-pound leadoff hitter or whatever. I don't know how much he weighs, but he's looking at that. 4 home runs.
And he's one of those free agents at the end of the year.
Is he?
Yeah.
I've always liked him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like him.
We had him for a while there in Boston, about 1 season maybe.
Half a season.
He's 5'11", 230.
230. 5'11", 230. Is that called stocky? Let's see. What
was Babe Ruth's size?
Oh, he was little.
5'11". You think he's 5'11"?
Maybe.
Consulting a SWAT.
Yeah. Little as in height wise.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just wondered if him and Schwarber were about the same build.
Maybe. Schwarber's probably a little thicker than the Babe was, but yeah, similar, I guess. But his weight training was lifting hot dogs and cold
beer.
Which I don't oppose to that weight training. It worked well for him.
No, it says he was 6'2".
But does it?
6'2", 215.
Okay.
That was Roof.
That's what
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought he would have been 6'2". He just
215.
I thought he was shorter than that too.
He just didn't look like maybe all the players back then were about the same height because he didn't really stand out height-wise, did he? Not in any of the footage you see today anyway. Look at the American League
This
here.
says he weighed anywhere from 215 to 250 during his career.
Vacillation.
I like it.
Healthy.
Yep. They didn't know about all the
Training table was different.
Yes,
then.
it was. It was. The training table was the dinner table. Tell me about this one. Texas, the Angels, Houston, Oakland, and Seattle.
Well, so far Texas looks like the best team in it.
Yeah.
But I never count Houston out.
But that's
Right.
a good division.
Angels are a surprise. I know they're just 4-3,
Yeah, that
but
won't
that's
last.
still a
No.
surprise. Here, I got a question for you guys. Tell me where the A's are playing their home games.
Sacramento, I think.
Okay,
But I don't know what the ballpark
Yeah,
is.
I thought it was to be Sacramento.
Have they had home games?
They have. I think they've had
Yeah,
some.
they have. It is Sacramento.
What's their attendance?
Sutter Health Park.
6.
9,300 at, let's see, they had a game with the Cubs on, when was that? Wednesday. And there were 9,300 in attendance.
9,300.
Sutter Health Park. I was going to see who else plays
looking
there.
at that ballpark, I seen a little bit, when they were
Probably a
playing,
minor
just
league, a
looking
triple
around.
A
Yeah.
team maybe.
It looked like Charlotte's.
Okay. Charlotte's got a
type-
great park.
type of size, except it didn't look like it was an upper level around, which made it smaller. So that 9,000 might have been
Now.
relatively close to full.
Did you see where Tampa Bay's playing their home games?
Yeah, it holds
Yeah.
14.
They're playing their games at the Yankees AAA
AAA.
park in Tampa. I've actually been to that park and looked at that park. It's just like a stone's throw from the from Tampa Bay football stadium. But I thought that was odd. The hurricane really messed up that stadium needed. It needs to be demolished and start over.
Yeah,
obviously.
Tropicana.
It's just way outdated. But now they're playing their games in a park that holds 10,000, I think.
10,000.
It's George Steinbrenner Stadium.
Yeah, it is.
I would
George
say the
Steinbrenner
one
Stadium.
that opens a lot like that too.
It says
looked a
the
lot
one,
like
the
like
one
that.
where the A's are playing. It says it seats 10,500,
Okay.
and the capacity is 14,000. So I guess there's a lot of standing room only
Sounds like it.
tickets.
Sounds like
But it's where the AAA affiliate of the Giants play.
Mm.
So you got the Giants AAA team,
and they
then
still
the
play
A's.
there.
Yeah,
I guess
Well,
they
that's
have to
just
schedule
like-
around them.
just
wouldn't
like
they?
what's going on in Tampa.
yeah.
Somebody else.
The Sacramento River Cats.
Here's one. Speaking of baseball, Ned Yates. Congrats to Dalton Pence.
I saw that. I was going to get to that. I'm
Who
glad
was
you did.
assigned to Hickory.
That's what I had heard.
Crawdads? No?
Yes.
Yes. And is wearing number 15. Had his minor league debut at Kannapolis last night in 2 innings of relief pitch, and he struck out 4, but did give up a solo homer. Not bad.
That's a really cool stadium too.
Yeah,
Kannapolis.
Kannapolis. It does.
It's
so.
Atrium something.
I hadn't been to a game, but I could see it. We went there and ate one time across the street there,
Yeah.
and it was.
Dalton Pence of Post 100 and Cherryville.
Rodney says, I thought it was interesting. Let's see. Well, okay, let me go back up on Rodney's a little bit. First, he says, I agree with Brett, SGA, the MVP. But did you see Joker 61 points and a triple-double the other night? Yeah. That's amazing to me that man can score 61 points. I mean, I love it. I love to watch him play. Any thoughts or discussions on Ovechkin to break Gretzky's record soon? Last night he tied it. He got 2 goals last night and tied the record.
The record that they said couldn't be.
Alexander Ovechkin. He was hated when he came in the league. You remember that? When he came in with Washington. Is that where he's at now? Because I don't even know.
I don't know.
But I know that it was a big rivalry between Ovechkin and I don't know. It seemed like it might have been Philadelphia at the time. That was, Philadelphia's always had some in every sport. They always have some people to ruffle feathers. It seems
You know
like.
what,
And their fans as well.
What Denver did in that 60-point triple-double by Jokic? They lost.
Did they?
Yeah.
Does that play a role in MVP?
That's why I think records got to factor in.
It does.
When you got two guys
It
that
does,
are that
yeah.
similar.
Did you help your
And
guys
one's 18
win
games
the
better.
division, and did you help your guys get, and when is the voting? Is it as soon as the regular season ends?
I think so.
But then they don't announce it till like second or third round, maybe.
Yeah, maybe during the conference finals or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember when. No, that's when they do the lottery. I can't remember. I'm
Yeah.
not sure when they announce it.
Yeah. Rodney also says, I thought it was interesting that they have played about the same number of games. He's talking about Gretzky and Ovechkin there, that they've played about the same number of games. Yeah, well, records are made to be broken, right? So we're just seeing another case of that right here.
So he plays. Let's see. He was in the. Yeah, he still plays for Washington. Ovechkin doesn't.
Okay, so I'm guessing then his entire career hadn't left and come back. I wouldn't think. I don't know that, but I guess he's
entire career.
His entire career.
He started in the 2013-14 season. So 12 years.
That's weird. Do you guys have the buzzing
Yeah.
in your ear? We got
Little bit,
buzzing in our ear.
Little buzzing.
And it's funny because when I scroll my computer, it gets louder. And Lanny did something just now because it went away. Huh?
Yeah, I don't
Thank
think you did
you.
anything
Laid hands on
technical. I
Something
don't think you did
happened.
anything technical.
Well, it went away.
He didn't even do anything intentional.
Yeah. Did it not go away?
Well, I think it comes and goes.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Like us?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yankees lead the American League East 5-2, followed by Toronto at 5-3, Tampa Bay 4-3, Boston 4-4. I'll take 4-4 after starting 1-4, won't you, Lenny?
Yeah.
And then the Orioles come in at 3-5. Now, one of the Orioles' better players is on the DL right now. What's his name?
Gunnar Henderson. I think
Henderson.
I think he came off of it last night. I
Shortstop.
don't know whether he played last night.
Right.
He was playing in Charlotte this weekend.
Okay.
He did play. He went 1 for 4.
I think I skipped the Central. First place, the Cleveland Guardians at 3-4. 3-4. Along with, it's a three-way tie. Kansas City, Detroit. I think Detroit can
Detroit
compete.
and Kansas City both improved a lot last year.
Yep.
Um,
And
yeah,
Detroit had to start with who'd they play for the first?
Dodgers.
wasn't it?
Yeah, they had to start with the Dodgers and drop 3 games. Imagine that. Yeah. Detroit's always been one of the places I like to see baseball be good. You know, I grew up and Detroit was in the playoffs. It seemed like about every single year. And what was the catcher's name? That Freehand.
Bill Freehand.
Bill Freehand. Yeah, I mean, that's going way back there. But yeah, they were Lolich, one of the pitchers. Is that right?
Mickey Lolich.
Yeah, Mickey Lolich.
Nolan Cash was at first
Yeah.
base.
Yep. But what's the best baseball name of all time? He didn't play for the Tigers. He did not play for the Tigers. My favorite baseball name of all time, and it's just his last name. It doesn't matter what his first name is. It's just his last name. Yeah. He was a Minnesota Twin forever, as far as I know.
Army
Killebrew.
Killebrew.
Yeah.
Killebrew.
I mean, who wouldn't want
Should have
that?
played for Milwaukee.
Who wouldn't want?
Killebrew.
Did he?
I said he should have.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That would have been. That would have
And
been.
of course, he killed the baseball figure.
he did do that too.
with his home runs.
The guy I remember from the Detroit Tigers growing up was Sparky Anderson.
And that was
Their-
after his days
their
with the
manager.
Reds.
Yeah.
When I was
that
a
was
kid.
after the Reds. You're right, because he had read the Red Machine many years before that.
What TV show and star was a huge Detroit Tiger fan?
No, Magnum.
Magnum wore his Detroit hat
Yep.
all the time. Yeah, living in Hawaii, wearing an
You
H.
didn't see a whole lot
I
of
was
Detroit
thinking,
fans on TV.
No.
Well, he said TV star, but I was thinking Eddie Murphy and Beverly Hills Cop being a
Lines.
Yeah, he did wear the Lions.
Yeah,
So I assume he was all Detroit.
Yeah, he was a Detroit Lions. Yeah, had a Detroit Lions coat he wore.
He was Axel Foley, his name.
Axel Foley. How about that? You going way back. Let me. I'm pretty sure the guys in here got my lyrics correct. Anybody name the song?
Yeah.
Well, I told you once and I told you twice, but you never listened to my advice.
The Last Time by the Stones.
Exactly. The Rolling Stones.
Very early, 64, 65.
Mike's not ready. Go ahead, Brett.
All right. Sometimes late when things are real and people share the gift of gab between themselves.
I like it. Tough one. We'll be back here in a moment.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Make 2025 the year you move into your new home from Key Builders of Lincoln. Let Key Builders help you make your dream home a reality and do it this year. Visit them online at keybuildersnc.com and check out their photo galleries. They are a licensed general contractor with over 20 years of building history and experience. Make 2025 the year of your new home. See your dream come true at Key Builders, 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook too.
For where 2 or 3 have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. You are invited to gather with us at Rhine Heights Methodist Church, located at 520 Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park. Sunday school meets at 10 and worship follows at 11 every Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for special service announcements. Join us Sunday at Rhine Heights Methodist Church.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westensales.com and like them on Facebook too.
Welcome back. Mike is on fire this morning getting Brett's
Yep.
lyrics. Read those lyrics one more time, Brett.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Sometimes late when things are real and people share the gift of gab between themselves.
Ned also got
Yeah, Ned.
those lyrics. America, Tin Man. And Ed says, I knew the Tin Man as my older sister listened to the America 8-track a lot. So
8-track.
Sticks in your head. Sticks in your head whenever you hear those songs over and over on the 8-track. You know, it used to be you couldn't go directly to the song you wanted to hear all the time on the 8-track.
You had to keep going through the tracks.
Yeah, you could hit the button and it might come up second or third. Not as good as a cassette.
No.
The only thing bad about the cassettes was you had no idea where you were.
No.
When you started,
you just had
hit
to keep
fast forward. They
forward.
said, try it here, try it. You might have to hit it 10 times
before finding the song.
Yeah, before you find the
only
the
when
starting
CDs
spot.
came along could we.
Yes, wasn't that something?
Pinpoint our particular track we wanted.
And what do we use now? See, I don't even have anything now.
Spotify.
Spotify.
What I use.
And
Spotify, Amazon Music.
There's several of those out there, right?
Yeah.
But now, the difference is you could. This makes a big difference to Mike because it involves money. Okay, it used to be though you buy whatever and you've got it, but you still had to buy a cassette.
Yeah.
This is just like a
$10 a month. Listen to whatever you want to.
Yeah.
So really, it's everybody thinks, God, I don't know if I want to do $10 a month for music, but guess what? It's like that all the time. You get any music you want.
Yeah.
And then if you were going to get what you wanted, you had to buy the cassette or the CD or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It may be.
When I was like high school, maybe a little bit out of high school, I was buying CDs. You know, every other week I'd go buy like 4 CDs.
Yeah, you were buying 3-6 Mafia.
Well, I still buy CDs.
That was way more expensive. I love Spotify.
I still buy a CD.
That's where I listen to all my Bill Simmons
I got in Brett's
content.
car one time to move it, and my eyes opened real wide whenever the music started playing. And it was, I said, who is that? And he said, that's 3-6 Mafia. So I was introduced to 3-6 Mafia by accident. And Jason will know what I'm talking about. I'm sure. But it was funny. And now, hey, there's millions of songs out there that sound that way now. I'll put it that way. I don't. I'm not in my, we talk about, the music in your vehicle and everything, and everybody's probably got the whatever it is
Sirius
now.
XM.
Yeah. And I do. I've got the basic package because I'm not in the car that much anymore like I used to be. So keep it to a minimum. As long as I can hear, just, couple good songs on the road or whatever. I don't even have, y'all be shocked. I don't have the sports stations.
Wow.
Don't have them. Don't need them.
I remember the days where that's all you listened to on the road.
I do too. It's just not when you drive around on your job or you commute back and forth. Like Brad, it's perfect for him.
Yeah.
He's going about 35 minutes.
Yeah, 40 or so.
That
each
works,
way.
It works well.
It's perfect. Yeah, you need something like that.
You got to have some entertainment.
Yeah. And okay, tell me, since you have that, what does your stay on primarily?
Right now, it's been on channel 84, which is the college sports channel.
Well, good
I really like their morning show with Danny Cannell and Dusty Dvorak.
I like the one right after that one, Brett, with Chris Childers and who's the coach from UCLA?
Neuheisel.
He actually pronounced it Childers.
That's the way he pronounces
not
it,
Childers?
Childers.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
I mean, I'm just guessing at what the spelling is.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got several. They got several good shows. They got a good lineup on there, and they have Basketball and Beyond with Coach K.
Yeah.
Typically one night a week, but during the NCAA tournament, they've been doing it multiple nights.
Mike Painter gives us the response I was looking for. He is the winner today, the big winner. The only radio station anyone needs is 107.5 when you guys are on.
Hey, how about that?
Oh, man.
Thank you, Mike.
Love Mike. Good to see him this morning as well. Good lead in because we're going to talk college basketball now. Because Lenny loves college basketball.
Me too.
Not as much as he used to, but
Well,
but
okay.
that's society.
Okay. Why not as much as you used
I
to?
guess the NIL,
NIL, portal.
and the portal. Maybe the portal more than NIL. Just a massive movement
every year.
I don't know if you were here, Lenny, when we talked about this. That I think you weren't here yet. That I mentioned. Brett told me this week that Rick Pitino has announced he will no longer recruit high school players.
Right. I heard that.
So
well, you don't need to.
Think about that. I mean, most high school players now, to me, are going to wind up at mid majors.
Yeah, but then they put
a
in
higher number
that's
anyway.
Right. But then they do well there. Then they're off to the high majors.
Yeah. But I mean, that just changes a lot.
In his mind, it's like a farm system.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For the high school kids.
It just seems like that is such a drastic change. I feel bad for the high school kids because a lot of that, that was a big deal.
Huge.
You know, I mean, there's still going to be some that obviously, I mean, you know, are you telling me if there was another, just for an example here, another Cooper Flagg out there that's in high school right now, the Pitino wouldn't recruit him? Is that what I mean?
No.
Funny you brought his name up because here's a quote from Pitino from a couple weeks ago. Pitino says he would turn down a 5-star high school player for the 2025 recruiting cycle because he wants to focus on adding transfers to replace his graduating players. I probably wouldn't take him because I don't think you can win and win big with high school kids. Here's a question. So if a Cooper Flagg type called up Pitino and his staff at St. John's, the coach wouldn't say yes, no, not this year. So this year we're not even looking at high school basketball players.
I'm going to disagree with that. I think if the top player in the country called any coach,
and I know he's already.
You're invited.
I know he's already committed, but AJ Batanza, if he called saying, "I cannot imagine."
Right.
Who wouldn't? Not saying.
To see the guy going to Brigham Young.
Brigham Young, yeah.
The top player in the country is going to Brigham Young.
That's right.
Yeah.
The top high
Yeah.
school.
Yep.
Well, now there's question on whether he's the top player or if it's this Darren Peterson. I think it's
where's he going?
He going to
Kansas.
And he showed up big in McDonald's game this past week, right? I think.
Is Brigham Young on the verge of being a power in football and basketball?
You know, they've always been competitive.
I mean, they do have a national. Yeah. Think about how many teams, how many schools out there don't have a national title, and BYU's got one.
Yep.
In football.
Yeah, 1990, right?
One of the Detmers. Ty.
Yeah.
What I understand is
they're in a major conference now.
There's lots of NIL money there, and the guy that's the coach has an NBA pedigree. That he was been an assistant. Young, I don't even know his first name.
Did they just hire him, or is his first year?
I don't know if he was an assistant under Pope for a year, or if he came when Pope went to Kentucky.
Well,
if
Pope's
he came
only
out of
been
the
at
NBA,
Kentucky.
Yeah, whoever their coach is, this was his first year.
So wait a minute, BYU's got a Pope.
They did.
Mark Pope.
Mark Pope at Kentucky was at BYU.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
And I think he's got some kind of NBA
Kevin Young
pedigree
is their current head coach. I was trying to see what his. Yeah, he coached. He was an assistant with the Sixers and then the Suns before he went to BYU. Okay. He was associate head coach with the Phoenix Suns for 3 years before he went to BYU.
The best one I heard this week, Buzz Williams, moving again.
Moving again.
I
had to get out of the SEC.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
And I really thought that might be his.
He was at A&M, right?
Because he was a Texas native, and he got a big pay raise. You know.
Let's see, where has he been? I'm trying to track his career.
I'm gonna tell you, he can win at Maryland.
He
can win at Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He started out. I don't know if it was his first head job, but he was a head coach at Marquette.
Yeah, Marquette.
And then he went to Virginia Tech.
And
then he went to Texas A&M. Now, was he anywhere before then?
Only one school before Marquette, and that was New Orleans.
New Orleans, okay.
That's his only other head coach.
Saints.
Yeah.
Saints or Pelicans?
The Privateers.
No, okay, the Maryland coach who put the school on guard that they're going to have to pump more money in the program, he ended up going to Villanova. Villanova.
Mm. Wow.
Has anybody?
And the Maryland fans were booing him.
Has Texas A&M hired anybody yet? I know Chris Beard said he wasn't interested. He was one of the names that.
Chris
but he
Beard.
said I'm staying at Mississippi.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if they hired anybody yet or not.
Well, he had a pretty good year.
This says Bucky McMillan.
Is that who they hired him?
Samford. Head coach at Samford the last 5 years.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah.
Nah.
Big step up.
Don't know him. He's from Alabama. He played at Birmingham Southern. Coached at Mountain Brook High School, then Samford, and now he's at Texas A&M. I mean, that's
pretty good.
Taking some big steps in a hurry.
What's that old saying?
One
work.
small leap
Good work
for
if you
a
can find
man.
it, right?
Yeah. One giant leap.
He's 41 years old. He did win the Southern Conference tournament last year, 2 Southern Conference regular season championships.
Must be highly recommended by
you say
somebody.
Bucky McMillan?
Yeah.
No,
a household name.
The last 4 years at Samford, he's won 21 games, 21, 29, and 22.
Well,
that's not a bad record.
Got to have a chance.
There's been some other now Power 4 coaches that have come out of leagues like the Southern. Who was the Wofford coach that went to UVA?
Virginia Tech, Mike Young.
Virginia Tech, Mike Young. I'm sorry, Virginia Tech, yeah.
Any other?
Wes Miller went from UNCG to
Wes Miller.
Cincinnati.
Are there any schools out there still looking for a coach? Is everything filled?
I think all the musical chairs have about.
I mean, by now you would think so. If you beat out, it shouldn't take but a couple days to have in mind
because you got to be hot and heavy in the portal.
You're in such a push to hire a coach now, but
yes,
the portal.
Yes, yeah, and look how fast. Here's one thing that always gives me problems about the portal and everything. So Buzz Williams probably already talking to players about going to Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And Texas A&M is going to get 3 or 4 good players. And now, guess what? They might follow him to his new destination.
True. Oh, yeah.
And leave A&M just, empty-handed.
And that's been happening.
And that's probably the case.
And it's a whatever you call it. I mean, the coach that just got the job at A&M, he might,
And that's probably the case, David, because I believe I read when Buzz left to go to Maryland that it was a senior-dominated team. This year,
well, who was it?
Which means that
that
he's brought in a guy. He was bringing in a lot of young guys that might follow him, or either he was going to go strictly portal. I
know one player you want to have at Maryland. The kid that hit the bank shot to beat Colorado State. He's going pro.
The one that traveled.
Derek Queen.
Yeah, the one that took. Give me 10 steps.
I don't know if he traveled or not. I just think it could have been called.
Yeah,
or it could not have been called, and they chose to not.
Very true.
Call it so.
Yeah, and I think.
What's his name? Derek.
I think
I can't remember.
Queen.
I think there's a couple other guys that went in the portal when Willard left, but that like the Reese.
Yeah.
Which that's his sister.
Oh, there was one
that played at LSU.
Guys,
I didn't know that. The
Angel Reese.
When is Maryland going to realize that their DNA is as a basketball school? They've done nothing since they joined the Big Ten in football. They get the money, the revenue sharing, but
so what have they done in football?
That's what I'm saying. They haven't done anything in football.
It seemed like they had a good baseball team a couple years ago.
Okay,
but I don't know if I think they maybe made the tournament, but didn't go real far. I don't think as far as the NCAA tournament, but. Yeah, but in basketball, they should be able to be good.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have to have as many bodies.
That's right.
And that area,
you're in a good recruiting.
DC,
yeah,
that whole area.
Yep. Who's getting them? Georgetown's not getting them, are they?
No, they're not winning anyway.
No, I can't think of what team up in there would be. They're going somewhere else. Is what they're doing. Not staying close to home. Of course, nobody really cares, I don't think, anymore about staying close to home. And especially when they start paying,
the money.
Yeah.
Well, now, isn't it this coming year when they'll settle the lawsuit and schools will actually start paying the athletes as part of revenue sharing. That's what I'm understanding.
Yeah. So how is it going to work with NIL
I don't know.
and
I don't
revenue
know.
sharing?
I don't know how that's going to
really
work.
understand.
I guess you still get NIL, right?
Don't know if anybody.
Yeah.
But will it change
no.
these vast collectives that these schools have?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Will the rich still get richer,
Rich
or will,
still
it,
get
or will
richer?
it balance it? I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
You know, is it like a type of salary cap thing? Which I can't
Mhm.
see that, because I would see that going to court.
Are they going to cap the NIL? Are they going to cap the collective as far as limiting it to like 20 million?
Yeah,
or something?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that's stay tuned. We'll see.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm like you, Mike. All I keep hearing is the revenue sharing will kick in next
Mhm.
next
This-
after this
next
year.
after this year.
And I don't know what that parlays into, more money, and then the rich will get even richer. But or I don't know.
Yeah. Good morning, Joey. Joey says out covering the 5K this morning
Oh,
at
5K.
Lincoln Landmarks 5K. Good morning, Joey. Glad to have you with us this morning.
Brett, and you was talking about other Maryland, but I think the point guard Gillespie, I think he went in the portal. Jacoby Gillespie.
I think
there's several of them.
was
Of course,
it Indiana that they said that they don't have any players returning from this year's team?
Yeah.
So they got to build a whole new, however many person, 15-person roster. They lost every player.
Every player.
And that's how, I mean,
Which
yeah.
team did that?
Indiana.
Indiana, he said.
Yeah, I remember hearing that too.
Yeah, we're getting just
Yeah,
cleaned out
Gillespie. It
roster.
says that Gillespie is going to Tennessee.
That's what I'd heard. He's going to Tennessee.
Georgia Tech's
point guard's going to Syracuse.
Nathan George is going to Syracuse. That's a
Carolina needs a point guard. I was though hoping that when I seen that
transfer
last night.
in
Well,
conference. I hate that when they move from one ACC school to
Conference
another.
within the.
Lenny,
I mean-
how's your
Well, here's
portal recruiting going?
well they got a
for
big man.
Carolina?
They got a big man yesterday. The kid
Okay.
from Arizona,
All right.
Vassar,
Okay.
played in the Duke game.
Played
It was
aga-
pretty
against
good. I
Duke,
mean,
Is this like a trade for love?
Yeah.
and then they've got a guy out of West Virginia. I don't know much about
John Powell.
John Powell.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe you know.
I know a lot about
Some
it.
of
Yeah.
One
kinfolk
John
possibly.
Powell, actually.
That's, yeah.
They have to find a point guard. I mean, out somewhere.
I'm glad I don't have to keep up with that portal stuff and the I mean, it's just
I just don't get why it opens up when the tournament's still going on.
Yeah. Why
Because that
can't they wait
puts
till
the teams
tournament's
that are
over?
still playing at a disadvantage.
well, guess what? Maybe they wanted
Yeah.
to level it out, and your team, if you're already there, you don't need the players as bad as Team C does. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that, but it does seem like it would
Well,
maybe
the
level
teams
it
in
out
the
a little
Final
bit.
Four, they can't really start looking at the portal, even though it's open, because they got to.
Well, they do.
They're looking.
I'm sure they do.
And guess
Think
what?
so?
Those teams in the Final Four are
Because
more likely to lose everybody
Yeah.
than the other teams.
That one kid committed
Yeah.
to Kentucky from Tulane, and they were still playing.
Yeah.
Cam Williams, I believe. So they're looking.
Are they allowed to talk? Are the teams that are still playing allowed to talk
That's a
to?
great
I
question.
would
Yeah.
say
Oh, I would
yes.
think
Are they?
so.
I would
Yeah.
say yes.
Well, if you're smart, you got you 5 or so lined up.
Mhm.
You know, I mean,
and I guess now
I'm
if
just
you got
thinking
that,
about Duke. I mean, if
you got that GM, that's
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got your
his
general
job.
manager.
You know,
That's
his or
right.
her job.
That's right.
And,
Yeah.
and then you consult with the coach as much as you can while they're still playing. You know. But
Yeah, I would say they've been in contact and they've got a pretty good idea of who's coming in. Now, does Carolina have a high schooler? What high schoolers they got coming in?
they got three.
Three.
They got
Okay.
of course the Wilson kid, Caleb Wilson.
Yeah, he's a McDonald's.
He was
Right.
in the
Player.
McDonald's. Yeah, he was
he's
in the
from
McDonald's
Atlanta
game,
area.
yeah.
Like they had, everybody rates him, but he's rated like number 7, something like that.
Yeah.
And then they've got a guard out of Washington D.C., Derek Dixon, 6'4". And they got a kid out of Charlotte down here, Davison Day, Isaiah Dennis, 6'5". That's the 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've brought 2 through the portal.
Now, who does Duke have coming in as far as high school?
They got the 2 Boozer
So we got
brothers.
the two Boozer
And-
brothers
and
who
they had
were
another-
both in the
And
McDonald's
they had
game.
to give him California. Was in the McDonald's
Yeah,
game.
kid from
Yeah,
California.
Kaminia. Nick Kaminia. He's
and don't they have a
like a 6'7"
They got a
kind
kid
of
out of
shooter.
Henderson out of
Texas.
Instead of Kaminia, I was hoping you was going to say Knipple.
Yeah, no,
Another-
those brothers aren't aren't ready yet. I think the next oldest are maybe sophomores in high school.
Maybe we can have the thing like we had with the
Plumleys.
The Plumleys, 3 of them played at Duke, right?
Will any Duke player on the roster be back next year?
It could be a total.
They could be one of those teams, don't you think, that
Yeah.
everybody could leave
leave.
at the same time?
Yeah.
I'm just not.
And I don't think it matters if they win or lose the national title. I mean, I think
No.
it's already set. They're either going or they're.
I just hadn't worried about what
Yeah,
next
yeah.
year
Just enjoy
holds.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they win it, I don't care if they all leave.
Yeah,
It-
chances of winning 2 in a row
I
are
went
slim
and looked
anyway.
the other
so.
day, and I was just looking at these mock drafts.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really looking for Duke. I was looking Drake Powell.
Yeah.
See where his are falling.
Yeah.
And I looked through. I looked about. Everybody's got their own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Their own draft. But in one of them's draft, even Isaiah Evans was a first round pick.
Yes.
It was one by like 26th or 7th.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think I've already written him off. Showtime Slim, yeah. I don't think he'll be back.
And Knipple and Malawatch are projected top 10.
Yeah, I
mean,
saw Malawatch most in those 4 or 5. I looked. He's like 6 to 7.
Yeah.
And Knopple was 10 on 3 of them picked. I believe now I think they're projecting who drafts, but I don't think that's really been set yet because they hadn't had the lottery, have they?
No,
But
it's
they were
not.
projecting, I guess, based on where your record was at, and it was saying the Miami Heat were picking 10, and 3 of them had Knopple, and then another one had him down to like 13.
Yeah.
But he was a
solid first round.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I saw him at 7th and something, and I said,
Yeah.
well, he's got to go. I mean, you know.
Well, the one I would really, I have thought a little bit about Proctor. I mean, I don't know, Tyrese. Is this his best chance to go? He does have another year of eligibility to do.
He's going.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think this is his best opportunity.
Yeah, he's not going to improve his.
And you don't have any bargaining power after this year.
Nope.
You got to go.
Yeah, I'd say he goes before some of the others.
But will he be a first rounder?
Well, those mock, but now I don't know how current some of these mock drafts I was looking, but they didn't. They had him in the 2nd round.
Yeah,
And so I don't. But I don't know how current and up to date. Where these mock drafts did before the NCAA tournament started, because he's really stepped up.
Yeah. As a second rounder, what are your options? I know it's not like the first round. I mean,
unguaranteed.
Yeah, you're just not guaranteed.
Not guaranteed anything.
A spot. I mean, a lot of them go to the G League.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna read you guys
Could
something.
you sign as a free agent if you're a second round? I guess you could. I suppose.
You can't sign as a free agent if you're a second rounder, no, because you belong to that.
No, you can sign a contract with that team that drafts you.
With that team, yeah.
Okay.
If they want you.
Yeah.
They want you.
Yep.
Yeah. And then
Mike,
you go to the G
maybe
League.
what you said, Mike, is in some cases, if you're going to be a second round, you might be better off to not get drafted. Because then you could work your own deal. You could
well,
work
it's like some of the
where
football guys.
where you match better.
Some of the
better with
football
the team.
guys sign as free agents instead of getting drafted, and it works out better for them because they want you. If they go after you as free agent, they know they want you for something in particular. I'm gonna read something real quick from Jason. Mike,
I'm ready.
Okay, good. The revenue sharing ruling is supposed to go into effect Monday for the 25-26 athletic year. With the revenue sharing, the schools pay the athletes directly,
right?
And the collectives will no longer be paying money. Each conference is setting the rules for how much distributed differently. The SEC has stated that they are not going the full allotment for revenue sharing, whereas the ACC is stating that they will allow the full allotment. The Big East has the biggest advantage as they do not have football to share money with. They also not bring as much money in, though, either, if you think about it that way.
Yeah.
They can have a larger pool for revenue sharing. Now, we'll talk about that when we come back. Right now, Mike's going to give you his. Did we update our lyrics? Brett went second, right? Did we give what yours were?
Didn't you say?
I don't know.
Do it.
It's 10 Man by America.
I wanted you to read the lyrics one more
Well, no,
time.
Mike's about to
Okay,
read
here
it.
We had a couple people get them, too.
I'll give you 2 lines.
Okay. 2 lines.
We're leaving together, but still it's farewell.
Wow. How random.
Have you clicked it away, Mike?
We'll be back in a moment.
The Get Out and Ride sales event is underway at Full Throttle Power Sports in Lowell. Get up to $3,000 off select models of Yamaha side-by-sides, but that's not all. See the Suzuki King Quad with 0% financing for up to 36 months or $2,000 in customer cash back. And see the legendary Kawasaki Ninja bikes. And see the new Ninja Razor Pro lineup. All at Full Throttle Power Sports, 100 Indian Walk in Lowell. Online at ncfullthrottle.com.
Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln has been serving the Piedmont of North and South Carolina since 1919. Sure, they deliver to your home with home heating oils. They'll help keep you warm, but they do a whole lot more. They feature bulk fuel delivery, on-site and commercial fueling, backup generator fueling, and farm and agricultural fueling. For home or business or farms, call on Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln, 704-735-2508. Online at rhodesandbill.com, located at 1404 East Main Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook, too.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
This is Creighton Kell with Kell Insurance. We have been helping people for over 25 years with all their Medicare needs. We represent the same national and local companies as the insurance agencies you see on TV. And you know what? We can sit down with you one-on-one and help you find the right plan just for you.
Kell Insurance is located beside the Cultural Center and behind Gillum Realty in downtown Lincoln. 107 North Cedar Street. Call 704-732-4646 and follow them on Facebook. Kell Insurance.
Look who just flew into town. Wild Birds Unlimited has expanded their nature shop, the latest in beautiful Denver, North Carolina. You'll want to take the short drive from Lincoln for all your seeds and feeders, hobby guides, gift cards, and more. Philip and Renee look forward to seeing you soon, and tell them that WLON sent you. Wild Birds Unlimited, now serving Lincoln and Catawba counties. Wild Birds Unlimited.
At Scooters Coffee, we like to think of ourselves as daymakers. A quick stop at Scooters can mean a fresh start to the morning, a midday break, or an afternoon reward to a long, busy day. Scooters Coffee has hot drinks, cold drinks, protein shakes, smoothies, and don't forget their great selection of food items. And Scooters reminds you to have an amazing day with a sticker on every item. Stop by 689 North Highway 16, Denver today. Scooters Coffee, serving smiles every day.
Welcome back. Mike Powell with the lyrics this morning. Give them again, Mike.
Okey-dokey.
Did anybody figure Mike's out from the first time? No, I didn't either. Here we go.
All right.
Never ready, Mike.
We're leaving together, but still it's farewell, and maybe we'll come back to Earth. Who can tell?
That sounds more like a science fiction show. Yeah.
Just singing them.
Give some more,
Lenny.
because I don't know.
Okay. I guess there is no one to blame. We're leaving ground. Will things ever be the same again?
David Bowie.
Oh.
No. I don't know it at all. I was just trying to think of something that was out there, like Ground Control to Major Tom.
It's a group with a name that's associated with a landmass, let's say.
A land mass.
Yeah.
Island. I don't know. Well, let's move on. Any comments on what Jason said about the revenues? Anything like that? Because Brett and I, we talked about it during the break. It's just
different world.
Yeah, I don't need to know it. I just soon not know what's going on. Just tell me who's playing.
Yep.
Tell me
I agree.
Who's on my team. That's for those people to worry about. And I just
that's the best way to handle.
Not for me. Now maybe if I was 20 years old and starting to follow college sports, might mean more to me.
Don't know any different. If you're young, you don't know any different.
Right.
You and I know what it was.
Don't know
what it used to be
way.
like. That's the thing that.
Yeah.
And I know it's never going to go back to that. It is what it is.
In our lifetime, what sport has changed the most? I mean, is there a sport that's changed? It really don't change on the field.
No, not that much.
Very little changes on the field.
Small tweaking of little changes,
but the word, what's the word I want to use? The word amateurism no longer exists anymore.
No,
because not even in high school.
Yeah.
You don't have to. I mean, you can be a professional athlete in high school. Now you can make some dough on the side. You know what I was thinking about that's changed more than anything is the NFL from the time I started watching it to now, because it used to be when I was growing up watching NFL, if there were 30 teams, there weren't 32 teams like there are now. There was like maybe 28 when I first started watching, but everybody's quarterback was good.
Yeah,
why everybody's quarterback was good? Yeah. Because you threw it about 15 times a game.
True.
You didn't
depend managers.
You didn't depend on the pass to
and you thought they were really throwing it a lot, but they really weren't.
Exactly.
Compared to what you see now.
What do you think the average quarterback in the NFL throws?
30 to 35.
Yeah, I would have
probably
said
30.
Yeah, I'd have said 35. I'd have said 30. I mean, so many teams now are pass first. We'll set up the run with the pass.
Like
not
you
the
said,
way it used to be.
Like you said, everybody had a good quarterback, because they didn't throw much, and nobody moved around.
And now,
I mean,
now finding a quarterback that can complete you 25 of those 35 attempts or 30 attempts, whatever, that's hard to find.
Right.
Hard to find.
Yeah.
I still, but baseball to me's not changed a whole lot. There's been tweaks here and there, but to me, all for the better. I don't know anything that's gotten worse. Mm-hmm. Basketball really can't change except for the 3-point line. I guess that was that might have been the biggest change in
that's
sports.
Been the biggest change in our lifetime.
Yeah, in any sport.
That and the shot clock.
Shot clock, yeah.
And would both you guys agree that has enhanced the game or not? Those two changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: it's been great for the little guy.
Yeah.
The 3-point line's been great for the little guy.
The shot clock's definitely enhanced it.
Speeding up play.
The 3-point shot has probably took away some aspects of the game that I used to enjoy. Yeah. People can't make a 15-foot jump shot anymore.
No, they can't.
If I'm gonna take that, I might as well take a 3-pointer.
Mid-range is
game
useless.
The middle game.
If I'm gonna shoot out there, then let me step behind the line.
It's either shoot the 3 or dribble and try to get to the rim.
And if you extend it anymore, it doesn't matter. They can make them 4 and 5 feet behind them now. You just lower the percentages, but they're not going to stop shooting them.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm going to ask you a question here. How long till we see a shot clock in high school basketball?
I just think it's
that would make it even more
so hard to do. I mean, does that not require an extra person at the scores table at every game?
Finding the personnel on staff.
Administratively, it'd be hard.
That becomes an issue.
And then it puts more stress on that scores table.
Yeah.
Or this is going to maybe happen.
Okay, hire an official to do it.
You're going to have to bring an official in to do it, like you do now, which is going to be cutting in more expenses.
Expenses for the home team.
Would you put a shot clock in high school basketball?
I would like it if there was one. I would like the high school game better if there was a shot clock. But I think it would cause more controversies and headaches, and I don't think it's worth it.
Well, you think it'd be a better game?
I'm about 95% for it. I'm about 95% for
some of the blowouts would be worse.
The blowouts would be worse.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, you could, whenever they do a running clock, you could turn off the shot clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're gonna mess with the clock one way, it ain't gonna hurt to turn off the shot
clock.
Right.
Yeah, I think you'd have to.
Yeah. But
you don't want a team being up by 40 having to shoot.
If you ever want to have defense in basketball, you got to have a shot clock. You got to reward them. There's no reward for defense. There's no unless you get a turnover. But if you can play defense for 30 seconds and keep that team from shooting, you're rewarded with getting the basketball. Mm-hmm. So if you want basketball if you want defense in the game, I think you need a shot clock. I mean,
Yeah.
Just
if you really go to games now and watch them, it's up and down. I mean, you don't see a lot of teams holding the ball out for a minute, 2 minutes, that kind of thing.
But I do see teams, if they've got like a 6-point lead with 4 minutes left, they try to run off as much time as possible, and I don't like that.
Good teams.
Yeah.
Like you say, Mike, teams not real good. Probably biggest thing, they can't hold the ball. They're not athletically capable of holding it.
Right.
That's but like you said, when you got two good teams going at it,
I think it would improve the game from a fan's perspective to have a shot clock, even if it's 35 or 40 seconds.
There's not that many games out there where you see teams try to hold the ball.
Yeah.
There are some. There are some occasionally in high school.
You don't see
but it would I just would like to see playing defense rewarded.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, that's to me.
It definitely would do that.
I did get a message here from David Wise. He says the biggest change to me in basketball has been in officiating. They've stopped calling carrying and traveling.
About 3
and
seconds.
It happens about every play, he says. You can't get called for carrying in the NBA, can you?
No.
I mean,
do you ever see the 3-second violation called anymore?
No, and it's there.
It's there.
You know it's there.
You just don't see it.
And to me, it's even more there. I've seen the 10-second violation. If you stand there 10 seconds, they'll call 3 seconds.
Yeah.
But to me, the lower the level, too, the more there is of that.
Oh, God.
High school, I'm going to get in there and camp out till they call me one time, till they call it on you one time or two times, and then you might get out of the lane a little more. Jason says kids that play the top prep schools already play with a shot clock at the high school level.
Yeah.
Also, the AAU circuit, they are playing with the shot clock. Do you know, Jason, if it's an official or a school member that is operating? Obviously, in AAU, it's not a school member, but is it an official? Is there an extra official? Because I think it needs to be done by an official, somebody that understands when to reset it, when not to reset it, when to flip it. The main thing would be on possession changes and hit it real quick to start, because that's something that'd be easy to forget.
Certainly.
Yeah, it's going to require another person at the scorer's table.
Yeah, and I've run the clock some before when I was at East Scout, and you're the most hated man on the.
You get yelled at more than anybody else.
You can't get caught up in the game.
Switch the shot clock. I can hear that now. Flip the shot clock. Come on, what's going on here?
They didn't start the clock.
Especially in a tight game. Look out if you forget to hit that button one time or two. But even that clock operator, the regular clock operator, almost needs to be an official.
In a lot of schools, at high schools, you've got maybe somebody on the staff or
that's what it is.
They end up having to do the job.
And until we get, we're in no position right now to have more officials because we got a shortage as it is. So it will be a while if it comes. I think it will be a while until they're able to. Now, that might be a job, though, that would – even though there is stress with the shot clock, it would be less, I think, than being on the court. So you might get some people that would do the shot clock and not be a court official itself. All right, we got about 15 minutes left. You guys going to predict the Final Four? 3 of us are probably afraid to predict the Final Four.
No.
And Lenny,
Who did we
Lenny
go
can take
with
the I don't care route.
I had Duke and Florida in the final.
We all
in
four
the
had Duke and
championship game.
Florida.
I had them. I have them in the
all four had
championship
Duke
game.
and Florida.
And I picked Florida, but I think I picked Florida more just because I didn't want Duke to win.
Right.
I really believe Duke's got the best team.
I'm going to tell you,
know.
at the beginning of the tournament, Florida was better.
Yeah.
Duke looks better right now.
Yeah.
Now, that don't mean Duke will – they may not even win today and get there.
That's right.
But they look better than Florida has in the
mean,
tournament.
Like I say, I'm looking through a different blinder but I had Florida and Duke in the finals.
In the
And I picked
SEC tournament,
but
Florida looked like world beaters.
Yeah.
They looked like nobody was going to be in there.
But they've had the most struggles.
And they really have. Them and Auburn
of
have
the
had the
4
most.
teams.
But
that
okay,
might change.
Well,
maybe they haven't had a good.
You got to look at it this way too. To me, is number one the one they struggled with was UConn. UConn was not going
True.
down without a fight.
No.
Right.
And the other one was a conference foe.
True. Who
You know?
knows you better than
Yeah.
anybody?
Mm-hmm.
So
And that's the same today.
yeah, that's
You'll be in
right.
a conference
That's right.
who they know you better than.
This is one of those Final Fours though where
Well, Houston's
any of the four won't surprise me if they win it.
Not at all. Yeah, either.
no,
any of the
yeah,
4.
I won't be surprised by any of them. Houston's one struggle was with Purdue,
Yeah.
who they beat 62-60 on a
Beautiful
last second
on the inbounds
layup.
Inbounds layup.
And Purdue overachieved, did they not? I mean,
Yes,
I
I agree. They did.
With losing the big man they had last year and to get back almost in that position again, that was a pretty good run.
And all of Houston's losses are either by 1 or 2 points. They lost one in overtime. The 3 or 4 losses they have. Of course, Duke hadn't lost since November either. So
I'm gonna let Lenny do this
Once
because
since
he's the one that don't have the dog in the fight. Rank them, Lenny. The 4 that are left.
That are left right now.
How would you rank them?
Well, I'm gonna rank them how I think they ought to be. I'm gonna drop my blinders.
okay.
Duke 1,
Yeah.
Florida 2, Houston 3, Auburn 4. And here's why I'm putting Auburn there. I'm not sure about Broom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. He
Right.
says I'm
It's healthy.
100%.
Hey,
We'll-
he played with one arm the other day. You know.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll
did a Willis
we'll know
Reed.
the truth today.
I don't know if that'll
I'm
come.
not sure. He says I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't letting that the arm that he injured do anything.
So-
it was just kind of
that's-
hanging there.
That's why I'm putting them forward.
I honestly thought
You know, just
Yeah.
because if
the
he's
way they
not,
played,
if he's
I
not
would-
healthy,
the way they played, I'd have him second
yeah.
Do you realize all 4
because they
of
played
the-
better, but he may not be healthy.
All 4 of these teams are in Ken Palm's top 10 in offensive and defensive efficiency, just about. I mean, we hadn't seen anything quite like this.
Right.
I mean, a long
I
time.
mean, that's the only reason how I'm ranking. If I know he was 100% healthy,
If you
I
buy
might
the
have Auburn
analytics.
moved. But right now, I'm gonna put them forward. And now they'll probably win it.
I would
Just
have.
because I said
They have a guy that scares me as much as anybody that's left, and that's Tahad Pettiford,
Oh, yeah,
the little guard that
freshman.
comes off the bench.
Yeah.
He is not scared of anything,
He's
and
not
he
scared.
can score in a lot of different ways.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to the guard from Florida. He just Pettiford comes off the bench and is just like instant offense when he comes off the bench. But the guard from Florida is really scary too.
the Clayton.
Walter Clayton.
Yeah.
He's a much older
their
player.
Finisher, yeah. Well, obviously Duke's the youngest team. Houston's probably the oldest team because they got everybody back just about from last year's team. So I don't know.
In the whole
Well,
field,
Auburn's
though,
old,
the
too.
whole
Auburn's
field,
old,
Auburn's
too.
the oldest starting.
Yeah, Auburn is
23,
the oldest.
23.
My rankings would be the same as yours.
Yeah.
I think.
I would. I'm gonna give Duke the kiss of death right here because I would have actually had Houston 4th. I'll just go ahead and tell you that, and I'm just basing it on the tournament only because that's all I've seen them play is in this tournament. And they're great defensively, but can they score enough? Can they score enough?
And I think they score better this year.
But
they're still not really. They don't score a lot.
Yeah,
but
that's their style.
part of their
That's
mantra.
Kelvin
I thought
Sampson's
Duke
style.
and Houston had the 2 most impressive wins last weekend. Duke manhandled Alabama, and Houston did the same thing to Tennessee.
Yeah,
That's right. They did.
yeah, but
I
they
mean, they
struggled
just-
the game before that.
That game was 34-15 at halftime
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
against Tennessee.
that
That's scary if you're Duke.
Yeah, and it was a long time till Tennessee hit double figures.
It was over at halftime.
So see, they can play defense. Can they stop Duke? I don't know. We'll see. I mean,
well, Houston's
I don't think they can stop them,
is,
but can they slow them down?
Houston's problem is they don't have anybody over 6'8". So obviously, Malawatch is going to be a problem.
But they're one of the best rebounding teams in the country.
Yeah, they're one of the best rebounding
and
teams.
I'll sit here and say this. I'm not a Duke fan, but I will say this. I'm going back to last week. It would have been all right with me if Alabama would have beat Duke. But when it was over, I kind of smiled slightly.
So they didn't have all them teams?
Because I thought, Nate Oates, what's that song? What do you think of me now? Or whatever. Run through my mind.
How you like me now?
How do you like me now? Because he had been
now?
trashing the ACC all along, and not just this season, but last season.
Yeah.
And that kind of run through my mind when it was over. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been an ACC.
It kind of run, that. And that, okay, well, the ACC ain't totally dead.
No.
Yeah, not totally.
And you know what? Well, we know one SEC is going to be in the finals, and we know one's not going to. The other side's not going to be. But I didn't think for the season they had, I didn't think the SEC looked as dominant in the tournament as I thought they would. Yes, they got two teams there, but it almost worked out where they. Yeah, when you got four in the Final Four, you're likely to have two.
Yeah.
But
you had 7 in the Elite Eight. Right?
I did hear this.
It's
Sweet
not
16.
It's not like
Sweet
everybody's
16.
picking Auburn or Florida to win it now.
I heard this sometime. Isn't this wild? It's almost spooky. 2008, you had the 4 number 1 seeds there.
Yep.
This year, you got the 4 number 1 seeds there.
Mm-hmm.
2008, the championship was in San Antonio.
Yeah, like
this
it
year's
is
in
now.
San Antonio.
I did not know all that.
And here's the last of that story. That championship in 2008 was on April the 5th and April the 7th.
Okay.
Which today's April the 5th, and Monday night will be April the 7th.
I'm going to plead ignorance. Who won it?
Kansas. Beat Memphis.
Okay.
And that was one of the great games. Remember?
It was an overtime game.
And the other two, wasn't Carolina in the
Carolina
Final Four?
and UCLA, I believe.
UCLA.
I think we talked about that later. UCLA was the other team.
Yeah.
That's when Roy Rhoden wore the Kansas sticker and the people were mad because he stayed Monday night.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm trying to think if Auburn wins. Let's look. If Auburn wins and Houston wins, who you guys want to win it?
Well, I'm not a fan of either coach, but
I'm a fan of both coaches.
Are you?
And especially Bruce
Pearl. Yeah.
Not
I know
Bruce
Pearl has done a lot of humanitarian stuff.
I like him.
Yeah.
I like them both too.
Yeah, I like both coaches, and I would. Don't get me wrong, Kelvin Sampson being in North Carolina Navy would be great to see him win it. I really would like that too. He almost conceded last week in an interview that just doing this is my national championship. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
You see that? He didn't.
Yeah.
It's like, I'd love to win one. He never said that. He never said anything about I'd love to win. He said just doing this is my national championship.
The journey.
But Bruce Pearl, I mean, he's just I don't know if he got a raw deal. Where was he before?
Tennessee.
I don't know if he got a raw deal there or not, but he's just been a good coach, and like you said, he just seems like a genuine
I'll say
good
this:
person, doing a lot of stuff
the
for
players
kids.
love him.
He does a lot of stuff for
See
kids
that?
too.
Yeah,
he
does.
So, the Florida coach is young. He's going to have more opportunities.
He's going to have opportunities.
I would think.
And Shire.
I would
those
think.
Two are going to.
Yeah. But there's nobody in there that really would bother me if they won it.
It's interesting too. You got two of the better young coaches in the game here, along with two Ulsters, in Sampson and Pearl.
And this might be, as we journey along in this NIL era transfer, this might be the end of the road for a lot of these older guys.
Yeah. You can see
really.
It's getting.
Well, like you said, two of them are old hats.
I see Pearl and Sampson staying on at least,
I do too. A couple more years.
Yeah, because I don't, they've thrived in this type of environment before.
Well, Sampson's still kind of doing it the old school way.
Yeah.
He's just bringing kids in out of high school and
right
making them better.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
Yeah, that story they did on him and that one kid that he redshirted. I don't know if you guys saw
I
it or
didn't
not,
see it.
but it was really good.
And I think he's comfortable with that because, too, I'm going to be here, and because from all I'm hearing, the son's going to be the next coach.
Is he?
So that's what I'm hearing.
Okay.
That's the way it's set up to go, unless something happens.
Right.
Here's one thing,
and it might be the same thing at Auburn with.
Think about
his
this
son
too.
On the staff
I don't know.
Too. I think Pearl's son, but he's a little younger. I think. But.
We should all pull for Houston if our team don't win it, because look at the times they've knocked on the door.
Oh yeah.
Do they own a national championship?
I heard this. Yeah, this is their 6th
trip to the Final
Four.
Four.
To the Final Four, and
I mean,
3 of them were in a 3-year span. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
81.
Well, the shocker was NC State beating them.
Look at their greatest teams in late 60s. They had Elvin
Hayes.
Elvin Hayes. That was a great team.
That was,
but unfortunately, UCLA had Lou Alcindor. Later, Kareem.
So they didn't win it with Akeem.
Nope.
No.
They made it 3 times.
No, they lost.
Yeah, I was thinking they were going for
Carolina
back-to-back when State beat them.
Carolina beat them in 82.
They lost to Georgetown
in the semis.
In the semis, and Carolina played Georgetown.
Yep.
And then they made it to the finals in the next year when NC State won it.
Yeah.
And then they played Georgetown in 84.
The State one was just like a miracle.
Yeah.
Like it was just meant to be. Every State game that year in the tournament was a miracle.
69.
And then that's 4.
Did State win any games by double digits in '83?
No. They were all of that ill.
How many overtimes was the Pepperdine game?
That was 2.
Just 2. Seemed like it was 20.
Did they go to overtime against Vegas when
I
the
can't
Tark the
remember.
Shark? Can't remember. They beat Virginia
and they beat
too,
Virginia
and Ralph
in
Sampson
the
in the
Elite Eight. Yeah.
Elite Eight.
To go to the Final Four.
Yeah. Who else they beat?
Morning, Scott. Scott Childress says
Who
someone
they
said that Kelvin Sampson was getting ready to have another L. Well, I'm hoping so. But I will say this: if he wins today, I'll probably be pulling for him Monday.
Yeah. Okay. I'll buy that.
Him or Pearl.
Yeah.
And that's nothing. No knock on Florida. Hey, I should be pulling for them because that's my champion in the bracket. I don't know if I'd win anything.
Mine
I'm probably
too.
too far out, ain't I, Brett? To win.
I have no idea.
I don't either. I haven't looked at I have not looked at it since we.
Well, the thing is, if you pick Florida or Duke, you got to be at the top right now because so many other people pick Florida and Duke.
True.
So if you're not at the top right now, you're not going to pass people.
Right.
No,
No.
And I had Duke beating Michigan State.
Yeah.
So I'm out of it. And that my other one, I had Florida beating Houston, so I still got a chance in that
That
one.
was around 15th out of 30.
I did not have the Duke Florida matchup in either one of my brackets.
Still feel bad for Izzo, my man Izzo. He just can't get back. I wonder when he's going to hang it up. I mean, it's got to. He's starting to show some age on him.
I'm
now,
in a pool, and I got Houston in Florida, so I could possibly
That's
be in the finals.
That's the matchup I got in one of mine.
But in the pool I'm in, we pick them all.
Shame on
we
y'all.
draft them like you draft.
You do?
You go through and pick them.
Okay.
So you're sitting there in that round of 64. You'd be watching somebody play. You don't even know who they are, but I got that team. I'm sitting there pulling. Pulling for every
Gives
game.
you interest on every
I
game.
have an interest in that game.
I like that.
I mean, we pick one through 64.
Well, we will know when we get back in here next week.
Did you get Mike's
who our new national champion? Here's your lyrics. Read them one more time.
Okay, guys, I don't understand it. We're leaving together, but still it's farewell, and maybe we'll come back to Earth. Who can tell? I guess there is
That's enough. Tell me who they are.
Final countdown, Europe.
Final
It's the
countdown.
Final countdown.
I got you. Thanks for tuning in this
Allah,
morning. We
Final
are out of
Four,
time.
Final
We are
Countdown.
out of time. Give you the national champion when we come back next week. Thanks for everybody. See you then.